Okay, this is like the third time I've tried recording this video, mostly because the first time I thought I would do a live edit, and that turned out to be over 2 hours long, and I'm not dealing with that. So I have gone back and forth on this thing countless times. This is one of those things where like I didn't really have a direction, and I went a bunch of different places. So I can show you the first thing that I tried to do, which ended up looking like this. And I didn't, it was weird, right? Like this one took me like an hour and a half. I did a bunch of different stuff, and then I did it in the wrong order. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But this bar, oh, wait. Let's see. What do I got to do here? All right. So this bar that goes through here, this is baked into the base edit of her, which I screwed up because at the time I thought, oh, it's kind of cool, right? She's supposed to be a little translucent, kind of like a ghost, and have the light kind of come through. I showed it to a friend, and the very first thing they said was, why is that laser going through her legs? Which tells me that's not a quality edit. The thing I was trying to convey did not happen. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to go back and re-edit this because this is not the idea I had in mind. I had a much darker version of this in mind when I shot it. So the fact that I ended up with this is crazy to me, that that's just kind of where it went. But I also realized that the background image that I chose kind of led me that direction. And the reason I say that is because it is an image that I shot. We shot it in Olympic National Park. And I thought, oh, this would be a cool background to like put somebody in someday. So like when I was out there, I shot with the intention of using it as a backdrop for some sort of like fantasy type thing. But this is a case of trying to stick a round or a square peg into a round hole, right? It didn't work. So the image, because the background image is so bright, having her silhouetted with a bunch of stuff just didn't work. So I lit her up and I did some other stuff, and it's okay. Like it's not terrible. And like, if I, brought it down and just did something, like that, that's okay. But that's way too bright now because there's nothing else to it to bring it. And if I bring it down, it doesn't quite work. Like I can take the highlights down maybe, kind of thing, and like whatever. But like, it's not a thing, right? It's no good. So I scrapped the idea. I started completely over, and I worked on it for multiple days, multiple evenings, probably. I know I said 3 hours at the beginning, but I bet it's more than that if I actually clocked it. So we're going to walk through that. So this is the image I started with. This is the image that I'm ending with because mostly I'm tired of dealing with it. So we are going to start all the way at the bottom with this guy, which I lied. Oh, these are all off. That's why. I was like, where's all my things? So, oh, I moved it and cropped it. So that's why this is weird, right? So this stuff down here, this is all just skin retouching. So like if we kind of look in here and I turn that on, I turn this off and on, you can see that I just did some skin retouching. I did it on the whole face, cleaned up a little bit of the hair, and I knew I was going to kill the background, so I didn't worry about it. Right, so that's this edit down here. So first things first, do all of this stuff first, right? Do all of your skin retouching, your healing first. If you're gonna pull a model out of an image and then stick that model in a background, don't wait to the end, right? That's what I did wrong the first time. Because I was like, ooh, let me see if I can extract her from the image, get the background, get the mask, get the whole thing. And so I did it way wrong. But anyway, so that's the skin retouch. You can See, like shadows here, here on the chin. There's more on her forehead when we'll see that, right? And turn it on. And it just kind of smoothed out the light and the gradients, right? All right. So let's get rid of all of this. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this background, which was already an image that I had shot. Why is that called Jack? Why is that called Jack? It doesn't matter. Anyway, so this is another image from the forest that I did some edits in Lightroom and then brought it over. So this should be a smart object. Yes. So, yes. Oh, I know why, because I actually shot this with a friend's camera and he sent it to me because I had a different lens on at the time. Anyway, long story. Anyway, so this is an image. Again, Olympic National Forest. We're just walking through the Ho rainforest, actually. And so I did kind of I tried to make a nice dark, creepy edit. And, you know, kind of killed some saturation in the foliage. Obviously, you know, increased the browns, killed the greens, blah, blah, blah. Cancel all the changes, yes. Anyway, so let me go up here to her. So the next thing I did was I went through a big pain in the ass to bring her in, right? So I had to do this goofy mask thing to try and get her out here. So like if I just look at that, so I just have her here, right? So then I bring her in, but now I got to like blend her in, right? So that's no good. So then I started adding, added some color behind her, added a gradient color behind her to kind of pop that up. I added some light light rays, and wow, that just popped a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I turned on the fog mist layer. That's why. So now if I anyway turn these off, right? So add the light ray above her head to kind of pop that up. Add a little bit of curve just to make it burst a little more. Added some ground smoke, and then I had to color it and just kind of kill it a little bit. And then added some more ground smoke just to kind of go behind her a little bit. And there, it's masked so that it doesn't go in front of her entirely. Right, so that's all the ground smoke. Then the ground smoke needed color, right? So I went back and forth on this a whole bunch of times. I tried multiple gradient maps on the smoke to try and just do some stuff. And this is kind of where I landed. This color fill doesn't actually do anything. It was just there to check my thing. I actually probably should just delete that. Okay, so then there's a goddess. And then let's see, color balance. So I went back and forth again on the color balance thing because I didn't know how yellow I wanted her. And if we kind of go in here, like I know I needed some color balance because this is how she was shot, right? It's pretty much like a natural white-ish, right? Look at the highlights. No good. So I added like a yellow overlay to kind of kill some of that. And I didn't really like it. So then I just kind of went through a hue saturation just to kind of, and I painted these in just on the highlights on her stuff. So that was okay. So that takes care of her. Then I said, okay, well, I need some more things. Let me back this up. Because I still didn't like where it was going, and I knew I wasn't going to end in a place that I really, really wanted. But I'm like, well, so for a hot second, I found these things, and I put those on there, and I thought, okay, that's not too bad. And actually, I ran these through a motion blur gallery to kind of put that in. And I said, okay, I can make them red to kind of fit, but I didn't like the vibrance of the red, so I left them off. I didn't really like this off-white yellow either, so I ended up not using them, but they're just here just for funs. while I was thinking about that, I said, oh, you know what? I got a flame thing. So I added a flame to her palm. And I kind of wanted to change the color a little bit because the flame color just didn't seem to fit in the color palette anywhere. So I just made it green because why not? This layer here, I probably need to change because honestly, it was me painting the fire color over there. And actually, I bet I can. Let's do that. If I do a hue saturation, pin it to that, and if I make it, let's see, it's already orange. I need to make it kind of a light lime green color, right? Kind of like that. But then if I make it lighter, it should just kind of fade away. And really, you're just looking basically here and the reflection in the palm of her hand. Like that's really all we're looking at here. If I make it real dark, it goes a dark green and then kind of goes away. But I mean, it's fire, right? So it should be a little hot. And the saturations, just a little bit. Like you don't want it to like blow out like it's a highlight, right? You just want a little something. So, yeah. So that was the original color I painted before I made the flame. Before I did this. So with this, right, here's the orange. I just picked a color of the orange here with a little brush and just kind of painted it in. I said, oh, I want the green. I should have done that and done this. Yep. So now I'm just fixing the highlight layer on her to match the green dress a little. Anyway. And that's still a little on the high side. So let's... I don't want it super saturated, but also you can't really even barely tell, which is just weird. Right. These are the things that kept me up at night. It's like, nobody's even going to notice this. Right. But like I am, because I know it's there. So if we turn it, if I actually, right, we'll zoom in a little bit, you can see a little better. So on, off, you can see there's a little bit of burst here in the shadow. Because think about like light's going to be coming this way. It's going to light up this side of her. Probably is going to light a little bit in here, which I didn't paint in. And probably I should have painted this chin highlight, which I might still. How about we do that? All right, so if I go at the brush tool and I go in here, I'll grab my pen real quick and make this brush way smaller. And then opacity, like 19%, super small. And we're just gonna kind of lightly, oh, that is not good. That is not good at all. Sorry about that. So let's see, that's undo. I need this thing to get out of my way is what I need. Let's see, which one of these? Alt? This one's Alt. Okay, so if I pick this color, no. Why is it yellow? Okay. And then now if I right, zero hardness, just make it nice and small and just kind of paint through there. Wait, why? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we are just going to undo that entirely. I also don't know why this is on a new layer. I don't know what else is on this layer. So we're going to undo. Make sure you're on the correct layer when you start to paint. How's that? Right? So like, what is this layer? This is the right layer. Okay. So now if I paint, God, why is it's so heavy? I think I've just messed it up here entirely, but that's fine. You kind of get the idea. I don't know why it's being so heavy-handed. It's at 9% opacity. Regardless, whatever. Okay, so this is, oh shoot, I rolled, this is how I ended up all the way down there. Okay. All right. I forgot. If I'm hovering over a layer with the tablet, because I'm using a Wacom tablet, if I roll with the layer highlighted, it actually moves the layer up and down. So whatever. Anyway, you live and you learn. You forget stuff. You do stuff. So this is kind of where I was sitting for a while, and I still didn't like it because I thought I really liked the stuff in the foreground from the previous one. So I said, okay, well, let me go look around. And I had a couple of these overlays. And then I said, well, that's cute, but let me add some more. So then I added some more, and I go, okay, that's nice. Mostly. It's the wrong color again, so I just ran a gradient map to just kind of do a light, just a light yellow kind of gradient map, because, you know, these things are basically backlit by this big yellow burst. And this is where I ended. And mostly I'm done with it because I can't stand looking at it anymore, which is maybe not the best thing. But that's where I ended up. So here we are. That's the thing. These are not going in. Doesn't matter. They're not, I mean, right? But this is one of those things where it's like, I'm just throwing overlays at this image at this point, and I kind of hate that. So someday maybe I'll learn how to do the things I want to do with it. Why is this? Oh, because this is not selected. Right. It's too bright. That makes it a little too not it. Because this was the original sparkly, and it was too sparkly. So I threw a rotation smart filter on it. But yeah. So anyway, this is where I am. This is where I landed. Take it or leave it. It looks like somebody, you know, something an 8th grader would do these days, but I just can't look at it anymore. So yeah, that's it. That's how I edited this guy.